I usually start my video with just my initial thoughts, but as the movie just came out today, I don't want to spoil anything. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. There's no reason not to watch it. I don't know what to say. Hello guys, I'm Nona. I'm Nona Prince, and we are talking about Drishyam 2 today. Spoiler alert again. Calm down. I'm too excited for this. Directed by Jeethu Joseph, starring Mohanlal. Man, I cannot believe this. They did it. They did it again. They repeated the history. This is unbelievable. Jeethu Joseph, take a bow, man. Take a bow. What? Just amazing. Just brilliant. Him pulling this film off is nothing less than a masterstroke. And Mohanlal, I'm a fan now. I still cannot believe they pulled it off. They recreated the magic of the first one. Man, I can still not believe. They did it again. They took me for a ride. I didn't know what will happen. So I was watching this film with other viewers on Discord. So if you want to do that, do join us. Link in the description. And you can ask them. In the last 40 minutes of the film, I was just shouting and screaming. I don't remember when was the last time I got so thrilled. Now sequels have a bad history in the past. Most sequels have disappointed and ruined the first film. And even when it was announced that Drishyam 2 is coming out, a lot of people on Discord told me they were angry. They were like, why they are doing it? That was just one film. We don't need a sequel and all of this. But then the trailer came out, so they got excited. It looked good. Even I was excited for it. And now finally the film is out, and I think most people are happy. Now I recently watched the original version and compared the treatment to the Hindi one. If you haven't seen it, check it out here. One thing I learned about the original one was that it was marketed as a family drama. No, there was no talks about the thriller aspect at all. And even in the trailer, they don't give away anything. So when that murder happens in the first film, people lost it. And the whole second half, people were shocked and amazed. Now look at the marketing for this film. Jeethu Joseph said, don't expect a thriller, it's a family drama. They played us, they tricked us. They created the same feeling as the first one, that we were going in for a family drama. And after the film, we are bamboozled because we weren't expecting so much thrill. Even Mohanlal was told, because in an interview he said for Drishyam 3, George Kutti have to come out of jail. And people were like, he gave away the ending, people were trolling him and all of that. But no, they are smart enough, guys. They'll not give up the climax like that. Just genius, man. Just genius. The marketing strategy was amazing. Already the reports are coming out that the remake rights are sold. Of course, when can we expect one? Now guys, there's a lot of things going on in the film. I'll try to cover as much as I can, but of course there'll be a lot of things to talk about. And that's why, as always, we are doing a live stream talking about this film this Saturday at 8 PM. So if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe for that, and the bell icon to get notification whenever we come live. Some interesting guests are coming. Now like the first one, this film is also not perfect. There are issues and we'll talk about them later. But first, let's talk about the hero of this film, which is the script, the writing, the screenplay. Again, Jeethu Joseph is a genius, and I can say that again and again and again. First of all, I love how everything connects to the first film. There are no loopholes, according to me at least. And this film feels like a continuity to the first one. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is a different film now with the same characters. No, it is the same world. Though Mohanlal looks more younger in this one than the previous one. Now George Kutti's cable TV employees changed. In the first one, Neeraj Madhav played that role, and now he's a big actor. He was in Family Man also. So of course he would not come back for just a 2-second role. So they even addressed that he had a fight and he left and he got a new person. The St. Joseph School, in the first one there was a lot of talk about, we should send our kids there. They'll be taught in English and all of that. That was a subplot in the first one. And in this film it's addressed. The younger daughter is studying there. Then George Kutti sold the land his father-in-law had given him, and now he's a theatre owner. Again, this was a subplot in the first one. And all of this helps the film. It doesn't feel like the sequel is forced. It's out of nowhere. All the dots connect. We as audience just saw their lives for 3 hours, but their life, their world continues. It doesn't stop because the movie is over. And that's very important. The basic idea of this film is that what will happen next? After the film is over, we all think about different movies. Oh, what that character would be doing, what would happen in that story. And we ask that because the film is made in that style. We feel that their lives will continue ahead. Now as the first one, everything that happens in the climax is all set up in the beginning. Just brilliant. Nothing feels out of nowhere. The watchman, the gravedigger, even the lawyer. I don't think the movie addressed it, but I think the lawyer is the daughter of that gravedigger who was held by George Kutti for education. Even the novel he has printed because of a copyright, but we later know why he did that. The CCTV, his passion for this movie, spending so much money on it. Even his drinking was part of this. Now as this was an Amazon release, there was no interval, so there is no clear definition of first half and second half. But I would say the first 40 minutes which are used to set up the film, they go like a breeze. I didn't even realize, oh, it's 45 minutes now. And I liked it. I liked the whole setup. What each character is doing, what's happening in their lives. A lot of people told me they found it boring, but I didn't. Because I think when you set up everything correctly, and when it pays off by the end, it feels satisfactory. If anything is rushed, you don't get that same feeling. I like that the film explored the general family problems, like the young daughter, she's a rebel now, she has modern thinking, she talks in English now, there's a constant bickering with the mother, which is very relatable. Then the whole subplot of getting the elder daughter married and how it is getting affected because of that incident. And no matter what, the society will always blame the girl. That's the sad truth. They even explore PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. The film talks about mental health because that's very necessary in today's time. Also in the film, she has gone through that trauma. Of course, she'll face all of this. And I like that the film didn't push it away. They tackle it. And there was also a scene about death, that George Kutty's father-in-law has passed and the mother is moving to Qatar now. And the wife is scared because she doesn't know, maybe this is the last time she meets her mother. And these are very real things. Even George Kutty drinking now, we get to know why later, but even I could understand, he is going through so much stress, what he has done. It's very natural someone to get into addiction, so it totally makes sense. See, the Drishyam universe is all about the detailing, and I think the longer time duration helps because these things are important, which most films will just bypass. Like the society around this family has changed drastically. They were supporting them in the first one because they were the underdogs, but now that George Kutty is such a big businessman, he's earning so much, he has a car now, everyone's sentiment has changed over the years. They want to bring him down now because how could he make that big? There is something wrong because society cannot accept it. That how can a good man become so big? And all the rumors people are talking about, making up stories, gossiping. That's what society does. Now the first scene, I just called it. Of course, someone saw him that night. I remember when I first saw Drishyam, the Hindi one, I was like, really? No one saw him that night? Like, no one? That was surprising. But they address it here. And I really like how naturally they treat it. That he's on a run from the police, then he gets caught and he's away for 6 years. It doesn't feel forced, it doesn't feel very melodramatic. Oh, he comes back and blackmails George Kutty and all. I like they didn't take that route. Everything takes its time. Now notice this. Both George Kutty and Jose, they want to save their families, they want to protect them. Now Jose is ready to give away George Kutty's name to save his family. But in turn, George Kutty's family is in danger. At the end of the day, it's all about family. The core theme of this franchise. I just love that. I really like that dialogue post the climax when the inspector is talking to the judge, that they invested the whole systematic power to unravel the truth and get him caught, but again they failed it. Whereas most cases in India, we don't even use it. That was really interesting. And at the end they say, there have been so many unsolved cases, let this one be too. There's an interesting shot when George Kutty comes back from police station and is inside his house looking outside, and we see the window with the grills and it looks like that he's behind bars. Not literally, but in his own mind. That was a cool shot. Man, he was planning this for 6 years. Wow. Just to wow. So much patience. My god. And to live with that fear for so long, maybe until he die, as he says in the film too. In the beginning I was a little confused that George Kutty, for him family is everything, is now wants to make a film and is ignoring his family for it. Like really? Film is most important than family? After the first one, what he did? And later it all makes sense. Again, no, it's about the family. He's ready to spend that much amount of money just to save them. Such a unique hero. Like, we have never seen a hero like this in films. A father who's not fighting, who's not punching the goons, but using his mind, using tactics, and saving his family. And everything he does, by the end I'm like, yes, George Kutty can do it. He's a character like that who has done all this, who has schemed everything, and it all worked out. Again, in the climax, the way they build all the characters, the police, the IG, the things they do, again the police misusing their powers, framing them, saving the IG's kid, all of this make them more villainous, and you want to support George Kutty because what's happening is injustice. And even the police inspector says, no, it's a war and we'll fight. It's a personal war for him. And George Kutty is so kind-hearted, he's so forgiving to everyone. He understands he made a mistake and he has to live with it. But I'm like, come on George Kutty, show them, kick them, this is Sparta. And the satisfaction you feel when you see he has outsmarted everyone, even we, the audience. Now coming to the issues of the film, first of all, both the films take a lot of creative freedom and liberties. A lot of times things feels very far-fetched, but by the end it all works out because the film itself calls it out. Both the films are so influenced by cinema itself. Our main character is such a cinephile, so they use that to resolve these issues in a way. There's even a dialogue in this film, when the writer asks, this is very risky, hero must be very lucky, and George Kutty says, heroes are lucky, they are the heroes, they have have to win at the end of the day. Kind of, being meta. And he follows that up really well, saying that there's no other option hero has, It's either go to jail or save his family. And he'll always save his family. So he'll try. Maybe if he's lucky, he'll pull it off. A lot of issues with the film are very consistent in both the films. And somehow it's a good thing because it makes the world consistent in both the films. It feels like there's the same world, same characters. It's kind of weird, but it makes sense. I don't know how. Technically, some way the editing was little choppy. Now, I was just reading the subtitles and some other people told me that, sometimes the sound was off, the dialogue sync was off. These are some of the issues which should not be there in a film like this. Like, it should not be acceptable. These are very basic things. Now, watching with subtitles really helped because I was focusing on the subtitles because the film is very dialogue heavy. So most of the time I was just reading the subtitles. So I may have missed these technical issues. Now, one thing I didn't like was the law was not followed very well. To create tension and conflict in the film, they take away the common sense, the common logic. Now, first of all, a police officer should know this. Any statement made by anyone in a police custody or interrogation is not admissible in court. You watch any court-related movie, you'll know this. And later, that happens in the court. So I'm like, really? The police is so dumb. Now coming to the witnesses, they remember things from 6 years ago. First of all, that's such a weak statement. It will not stand in any court. Any opposition lawyer will just destroy the statement. Like, there's no way someone can remember anything from 6 years ago. That was such a small detail. They saw George Kutty going out or saw George Kutty there. Like, no, it will not stand. And that later happens in the film. So it's kind of weak conflicts. Like, the moment these things were happening, I'm like, these are not witnesses. There's no proof. Like, you cannot stand in court with this. Come on. It's that obvious. That's why, in Appam Question, Sachi did such a great job with that. He used the existing laws and created conflict through them. Now, of course, I'm not comparing both the films at all. They're very two different films, and Drishyam series has taken a lot of creative liberties. But I wish they had spent more time on this to make this conflict more real. That yes, George Kutty is in danger. Because anyone who has seen any court-based movies, they will know, oh, this will not stand. George Kutty is safe. Again, the interrogation scene. Come on. After what happened in the first film, they have to take order from court to interrogate them. They know what police has done before. And there's no legal counsel present in the interrogation. Like, really? You trust your police so much? And that's repeated again in this film. And if now court allows police alone interrogating them, I'm like, change the court. Coming to the court scene, it feels very exaggerated, very filmy type. What we see in other films. It feels like inspired from other films and not real court proceedings. And it kind of works in the Drishyam world. Everything is film inspired, but it does throw you off because it's just too simple and too mediocre. I'm sure they could do a better court proceeding. Coming to the acting, I think I had this issue with the first film also. Like, the side actors are not that good at all. They are the weaklings and they weigh the film down, and that continues in this film too. Now, one scene was really over the top when in the end George Kutty removed those bones under his office and used that magnetic thing to pick up the floor tile and remove the bones from there. I'm like, okay, really? Am I watching Lucifer suddenly? But again, like, if you think he's inspired from movies, he may have seen that thing used in Mission Impossible and all of that, so maybe he has it. I don't know. Now, that boyfriend or friend, whatever, of the younger daughter, like, he never shows up later. Like, it's like forgotten. Like, the writer, everyone forgot about that character. So I did feel, what was the point of having that character? Like, you could have just not have him at all. Now, the wife's acting, I'll not say it's bad. It's very theatrical. It's very old school. Acting with your body, with your expressions, depicting what's happening in your mind on your face, making faces like this. Even the dialogue when she almost gives away what happened that night, it feels like she's saying that dialogue. Oh, he was a pervert, that's why my daughter... it's like, I'll not say it's bad, but for me it does throw me off. When she's with George Kutty and family, she's way better. But whenever she has these solo scenes, like, it just throws me off. Now, Mohanlal, as I said in the beginning, I'm a fan now. And I wasn't a fan, honestly. I've seen his other films. I really like his acting. He does a really good job. But until this film, I was not a fan. But after this film, I am a fan. It's very difficult to play the same character like after 7 years, first of all. And how he plays George Kutty is so good. And I think Bhardwaj Rangan recently said this, that Mohanlal is a very different actor. His acting is not doing much. And I think that's why, for me, it doesn't stand out who is a brilliant actor. Because most films, he underplays everything. He keeps it down. Just for comparison, something like what Ranveer Singh did in Gully Boy. He's down. He's overshadowed by other characters. He's not making big dialogues. He's underplaying it. And I think that's what Mohanlal does in his movies. He plays that character in that sense, with the calm and composure. Also, I have not explored enough of his films. I'm sure he has done some outlandish roles, over the top, with a lot of depth. I'm sure I have to see all these films, and I'm more excited expected now. Coming to the ending of the film, it was really good. I really liked it. In a way, it resolves everything, but still keep things open. Again, that feeling, that their world continues to live. We saw the movie, we are out of this, but their world continues. I like the dialogue that George Kutti has to spend all his life to save his family. Maybe that's the biggest punishment he can get. The film, its characters, and even us, we feel that George Kutti is getting overconfident that he'll not get caught, but he was smart enough to know that he will get caught, and he was planning everything. So if he gets caught, what to do next? He was 5 steps ahead of us. So guys, those are my thoughts on Drishyam 2. I know, quite a long video, I'm sorry, but I had to talk so much about it, and I still do. And we'll do that in the live stream, so do join us for that. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, share this video, let me know in the comments your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed yet, check out the videos. If you like them too, do consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. And we'll be watching Love Tonight on Discord, so do join us there.